Blimey, that was quick. Before we get into this week's review, a big thank you to everybody who liked last week's video. I think it's probably the second most liked video that I've done on My Hero Academia thus far, and I know that 7 likes might not seem like a big thing to many people out there, but for someone like me doing this small little YouTube channel as a little bit of a hobby, it is a major boost to my confidence and really makes me feel good inside. So if you would be so kind, please give us a like, maybe follow the channel if you really want to, click the bell and do all the YouTubey stuff that YouTube wants that you do, because YouTube is an increasingly scary place for small content creators, so you should always support your local small content creator. Doesn't matter if it's me, it could be anyone you want, because there's always somebody that we follow that we never really subscribe to or like to. You've got to feed that algorithm. Like I say, YouTube is an increasingly scary place these days, especially for little guys like me. YouTube's done this update now where any video now can just be monetized without your say-so. So if you see an advert on this video, I didn't put it there, YouTube put it there, and I ain't seeing a single penny of it. So, you know, YouTube's gonna YouTube, and with that said and done, let us just get back into the review. As you may remember if you watched last week's video, I was of the point of view that Class A was ultimately going to win this fight. Yeah, it might get stretched over a couple episodes, and this week's episode would have ended with a little bit of maybe Class A haven't got this one in the bag after all, and that maybe Bakugo would have done something reckless and stupid that would ultimately have made the fight a lot more difficult for Class A, but in the end they would have got the win next week. I thought that they were going to win, because let's face it, on paper Class A were the strongest side this week. But I didn't think that they'd win it this quickly. I mean, I really didn't think this would be the case. This was an utter curb stomp, and whilst I have been very worried that this might happen during this entire arc, this week it happened in a way which didn't make me feel bad or necessarily got my goat. Like, I enjoyed what I saw of it. I worried that this would have been the case every single week, and that by the point we got here, it would just a little bit of a case of, alright, can we have the next story arc, please? This week's episode was fantastic, there's frankly no getting away from it, and it managed to turn a big worry of mine, a big fear for this entire arc, into a positive in a way. It proves that this story arc and probably the rest of this season probably isn't going to play out in quite the same way which we think it's going to do. Like, seriously, I thought that this one, once again, was going to be a bit of an and ahhry thing. At the end, sure, Class A would end up getting the win, but it would end up coming with a little bit of a loss attached to it. Bakugo doing something really stupid and reckless, and then he'd be in the end of the episode like, oh, well, at least I got the win, unlike the rest of you losers. Why are you guys so lame? You know, he'd have done that kind of thing towards the end of next week's episode after getting the win, and everyone would just call him a prick or something like that. But no, he got the win, and he got the win in a very respectable way. Like, he was acting in more of a professional way than many of the pro heroes do. I got serious Endeavour vibes from watching him fighting. He was in a whole other league. Like, this is a performance you'd expect to see, like I say, from a pro hero. He did everything that he needed to do and more, but still did it in such a way that it kept the core of his character pure. Yeah, he's still a bit of a prick, but at the end of the day, he's maturing and growing as a character. Sure, I'll put my hands up and say I would have liked to see a little bit more of that on screen, but for what we get right now, it is certainly showing an extra level of depth to a character that up till now has just been shouty, explodey man. At the end of the day, I do regret the fact this episode was just one fight, and the fight itself was incredibly short in the grand scheme of things. Yes, it was fun to see Class A getting the win. Yeah, it was fun to see the whole matchup, the whole flow of this season being turned on its head yet again after last week's draw, but I do dislike the fact that we didn't really get to see much of Class B at all. One of the things I've always said about that I've liked about this arc is the fact we're seeing characters who we've never really seen before up until this point. Getting to see them do their thing, learning about their character and their quirk. And this week we didn't really get that because of just how much of a curb stomp it was. Though if I am to be honest with you, dear listener, I think this was always going to end up being the case. I presume that when the people were writing this, the writers of the manga were doing this, and they got up to this matchup, they were just there like, well, there's no way we can bungle this one. This is kind of one-sided. You know what? Class A get the win. Class A get the win. Next week will be the harder fight, we promise. And next week's fight looks like it's going to be the harder one. I will be shocked if the next fight ends up just being another one-episode wonder thing. I can easily see it being 2 episodes, if not 3. Because this is going to be an episode which is going to be more than just a fight. It's going to be a major moment within the story of Midoriya. It's going to be a major character development point as well as a major development in his development as a hero. We're going to find out a lot more about All for One and One for All and all that kind of malarkey as Shinzo uses his powers and it triggers another deep-seated memory within Midoriya. That's probably what's going to be the major key to next week's story, and probably the story after that. Next week's fight, if we're going to look at the face of it, I think that whilst on paper it might seem like a curb stomp, I think it's a little bit top-heavy as far as the team itself is concerned. Midoriya is all the strength, all the speed, all the guy. Everyone else is just kind of there. There's not anyone else there with the same kind of speed and offensive abilities as him. So if he goes down, the rest of the team's going to go down, in which case this will all end in a draw, like I ended up predicting last week. But as we know thus far from my other reviews, me and predictions, we ain't good together. I can't do predictions for the life of me. So who knows, maybe Class A will get the big win in the end, but Class B will end up stringing foul play or something like that. We'll soon have to see. But what about you, dear listener? What do you think about this week's episode of My Hero Academia? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll get back to you shortly, directly in the comments themselves or towards the end of next week's video. And be sure to like, favourite, subscribe, click the bell, and do all the YouTube stuff that YouTube wants you to do, because YouTube is an increasingly scary place for small content creators like myself. Support your local small content creator today. It will do them a power of good. It doesn't have to be me. It can be anyone that you like, anyone that you've been watching for a while that you never liked or subscribed to. You got to feed the algorithm because YouTube is getting really, really scary recently. But thank you for watching. I've got to get ready for a party in a couple hours' time. Hope you have a great weekend, and see you next time. Goodbye! Thanks for watching. Be sure to like, favourite, subscribe, click the bell, and do all the YouTubey stuff that YouTube wants you to do. Go on, it'll do me a power of good. Until next time, my friends, goodbye!